for some straight talk. I mean, this is all about power. Do you agree?
I don't want to comment.
Okay, silence is golden at times. Your body language at the press conference told me two things. One, obviously this is something that has been thrust on you. Two, it was one of utter indifference. Okay, let somebody try this and I will see. Is that right?
See, basically, it's his idea. He's the coach of the team. He has his plans of trying to feel, and it's never happened in cricket. It's completely new. You know,
yeah, that's my third question.
It's completely new. So obviously, you'll have to wait and see, because neither can I talk on it, because I've never been a part of a team which has 3-4 captains. I've had 3-4 former captains in the team, but I've never been in a situation where everybody is captaining one game or the other. So it's completely new, and as I said, that's the only thing I can say. It's an honest confession that we'll have to wait and see how it works.
See, I've read quite a bit of sport myself. I've never heard ever in my life that a team has 4 captains. One can understand the prudence of, forward thinking, but what is this logic? I mean, do you find any sense in the logic?
See, Boria, it's difficult for me to comment on all this at this particular moment. As I said, all I can say, it's something absolutely new. It's John's idea. I'm sure he must have seen some logic into it. Whether we actually implement it or what will our implementation be, we'll have to wait and see, because IPL is still some distance away.
Last year, Calcutta Knight Riders did not have a good journey. In that journey, a reasonable mixed journey, you were one who had 3 Man of the Match awards, 100, and that last game of 86 or 50 odd balls where you finished off in style, and then a majestic retirement from Test cricket, and then now this. I don't understand this.
I don't think this has got to do with performance. I think it's a strategy, and to be honest, last year Knight Riders, we didn't have a team. McCullum went away, Ponting went away. We backed a lot on Gale. He didn't even play one single game. We got in Hodge to play for us, and he left after 2 games because he was picked to tour West Indies. Basically, at one stage we were playing with our overseas as Taibu, Salman Butt, Mohammad Hafiz and Umar Gul at some stage. So we just didn't have a team last year, and I honestly feel that even when we won 6 or 7 games last year, I thought that was good for us considering the team we had.
Push you a little bit more. Despite that kind of a performance where somebody with that team gives 6 or 7 wins, and out of which 3 Man of the Match awards, no problem whatsoever with the coach, his power increases. No problem whatsoever with the batting coach, his power increases. No problem whatsoever with the management, they remain. The only problem with the captain, whose powers are chopped.
Well, as I said before, Boria, that it's John's ideas. We'll still have to wait and see where it goes, and I'll leave it at that at this stage.
Team management, Shah Rukh Khan, any interference? Have you spoken? Will you speak?
I speak to him pretty often. We speak to him about other things, but this thing has just cropped up day before yesterday. I'm sure he must have read it in the newspapers. I think he's busy with all these things which are happening with IPL, because there's a lot of protocols, organizing, taking the team away from Kolkata to South Africa will be hard work. So logistics needs to be cleared, and I'm sure at some stage he'll also have an idea and get to know what's happening.
But doesn't he have the final call, if I'm right?
I'm sure he has. He's the owner of the team, and I'm sure he has.
If I can just take that question a little forward. Were you consulted at all as captain? That's the basic, because we keep talking as a senior player, as an icon player. That's the word used. Were you consulted?
For what?
Before this idea was mooted to the press? Because we read it in the press 2 days ago.
Yeah, I read it in the press as well first, and then obviously when I met John yesterday to see how our training camp would go, that's what he told, and that's what he said, that that's the way he feels 2020 should be played.
I clarify this for my viewers. You read it in the press first before you spoke to him.
Yeah.
I really think, I'm not one part of the management, but I really think there is something wrong in this team. If the captain who has won 3 Man of the Match awards has to read about a major strategy in the press, I think there's something wrong.
That's why I said, I know this has created a lot of speculation, lot of news in the TV. We still have to wait and see how far it goes. I think let's not jump too far. Let's wait and see whether such policies are feasible. I'm sure John is going to try it out in practice games, warm-up games, and see how far it's feasible. and then take a call, because he's also not been a part of a team which had this sort of situations. And I was told that he tried once with the Australian cricket team, but it didn't go forward. So we'll have to wait and see. And I think at the present moment, it's time. The next 4, 5, 7 days will decide where the Knight Riders are going. And I'm sure we'll all will do what is best for the team, because, you know, just like any other franchisee, we'll have to win and we'll have to play well. And to be honest, there's no guarantee in sport, Boria. Whether there's no guarantee with one captain winning, there's no guarantee with 5 captains winning. You know, you pick players, you back them. When you select someone, you back him to perform. There's no guarantee in performance. So
there is no guarantee, I agree, but
exactly.
there is every reason to back a captain who has been, you know, winning 3 Man of the Match awards and performance.
And you have to take a call at that stage. Okay, this is how we are going to go. And it's with every team. When you pick a squad of 14, even when I was playing for India, then obviously became captain. You pick a squad of 14 and you back them to do well. They do well at times. They don't do well at times. That's how teams are built, and that's how cricket goes forward. You cannot keep chopping and changing every time. It doesn't help.
You cannot keep chopping and changing captains every time.
Whatever, players, captains or anything. So I think as far as what I have learned from cricket and seen cricket being played all around the world, it's about consistency. Even when Australia came into this series here, 4 test matches, they had a consistent team. That's the way players are going to perform better, because, you know, there's enough pressure. They need some sort of job security. Okay, listen, and especially in one-day cricket or 2020 form of cricket, where you have to take a lot of risks. You know, if you start putting pressure on people about places, about this, about that, it's ultimately going to hamper the team. I think the best teams are one which are set free and which will go and play freely. I think Matthew Mott has got a lot of ideas with the team. He's been a part of a New South Wales 2020 team which has won the competition. And I speak to him very often because he's the actual coach of the team, and he's got a lot of ideas. So we'll wait and see. We'll not go too far and wait and see what happens.
You've said this before. I mean, during the Greg Chappell era, there was this claustrophobic atmosphere where there was no freedom. Is it coming to something like that?
I don't know, because this implementation has not started yet. Obviously, with what happened in the Greg Chappell era, you can see the players voicing their opinion now. As I said, when you're playing and when you have something at the top, even if you want to, you can't. But that's how the system is. You can see some of the players saying what they are saying now. You read every day in the newspapers about Gary Kirsten and the support staff. So I think that answers all your questions. So we'll have to wait and see.
What about these Aussies, Greg Chappell and John Buchanan? They have a love-hate relationship with you? You bring them and then it's all about power. I keep coming back to my first question.
I think I've had good relations with Aussies. I think I've had a good relationship with Steve Waugh, although we competed hard on the field. You know, I've had interactions with him after that, and I've got too much respect for him and have a good relationship with him. There are people who have had good relationships, but I'm sure that's the way they are.
Now that you mentioned Steve Waugh, John tried this with Steve, and basically it didn't work, and nothing happened. And Australia, for the record, won 16 matches under Steve. You think it's a temporary experiment? I mean, I at least think it's a temporary experiment which might soon be done away with?
I don't know. I won't be able to answer this question. These are tough questions for me to answer.
It is. I understand that. And final 2 questions. As a Kolkata Knight Riders player, commitment remains the same?
Oh, of course. Of course it remains the same. You know, at the end of the day, I have my own reputation. And I have a commitment to Knight Riders, I have a commitment to the rest of the boys, and it's the same with everyone. And you know, I'm looking forward to doing well this year, because since I finished playing for India, I've really worked hard to get my game going at this level. And hopefully with everyone, and most importantly with everyone available, which was the key for us this year, to make sure that we pick players who are available for the full season. I'm hoping for the best. It will be a new challenge for the young boys. The players who have not taught South Africa with the pace and bounce. It's different from batting at Eden Gardens and batting at Durban. Hopefully they'll adjust, they'll learn, and we'll be a better team.
You said this before, Saurav, about IPL, how much it motivates you. This is the only silverware missing. You know, you've done a majestic international career, coming to the end of it. What is it about, I mean, you perhaps did not have a challenge to spur you on. Is this another new one? Another comeback?
No, I think I had a challenge last year also to do well in IPL. Personally, I thought I did well, but as I said, we didn't have a team to challenge the best. I think this year will be a year, hopefully with everyone fit and available. They're all available. with everyone fit, I really have my sights of doing well, both as a player and as a captain, if that happens. So we'll wait and see.
Final questions here, yes or no? I don't want to push you. This has given you a challenge within a challenge.
No, I think everything for me is a challenge. When I got left in 2005, I had to come back and do well again, because I felt I was good enough at that level to continue playing for India and performing. And obviously I did tremendously well before I finished in those last 2 years, both in test matches and one-day cricket. So it's a challenge from a point of personal reputation as well, because when you play for 13-14 years with success for India, every time you walk out to bat for any team,